Hi, fellow traders. Well, it's another late night for me. A lot of stuff going on today because tomorrow I'm going to be out all day. It's our 6 month trip to MUSC in Charleston. Make sure everything is straight, everything is tight. And I was telling you guys, and the guys that were in chat this morning, I'm that person that is so terrified or paranoid of breaking down on the highway. Now, I know I could fix just about anything that breaks, but you don't have your tools. I don't have my toolbox. I don't have my shop. I don't have anything on the side of the road. I just always want to make sure everything's checked out so that I don't have any issues or any surprises or anything like that. And that's kind of how I view going to the doctor. It's okay. The older you get, the more you need to make sure things are tight. And if things start to loosen up, or whatever needs to be done, we do it before we have a problem. That's just the mindset that I have. But that's a story for another day. One thing I want to share with you today, we're stuck in this generation, and I wouldn't even say stuck. We're in this generation where most people get their information online. I remember when I was in school, in college, and in high school, we didn't have Google. When I needed to do research, I had to go to the library. I had to read books. We didn't have YouTube where I could search for videos that people put out on the subject. I couldn't do that. So Google, it is a very powerful informational tool, but there are many skills in life you just can't get from Google. And that was a big issue I had with my students, because everything, it's like, we don't need to learn this. If we need to know it, we can just Google it. I'm like, but you can't develop a skill through Google. You can learn the information. And trading the stock market is one of those skills you just can't Google. You can Google the information. You can read books and get all the information that you need. You can watch videos, get all the information you need, learn how to trade. But the one thing you can't get is executing the trade. That's a skill that you're going to have to develop. And that's where having other people coming in helping you, that's where that comes in. That's where mentoring comes in. That's where being able to trade side by side with people that are actually trading the things that they're teaching you, that's where that comes in. That's where that's important. So, there's nothing wrong with Google or anything like that, because there's so much information online, so much valuable information online. There's nothing wrong with YouTube and the videos. Yes, some information may not be on the up and up, but as you go through, you'll be able to figure out which is good, which is bad. And those are very powerful informational tools. Just remember, the skill that you need to develop to actually make money trading is not something you can Google. It's not something you can get from watching YouTube videos. It only comes from you developing the skill through the act of trading. So just keep that in mind, guys. If you been following me the last couple of weeks, this 395 level, that's kind of right up in here. And we broke over it a little bit last week, but we just couldn't hold. We could not push up. And Thursday, we closed below the 5-day moving average, but we were above the 20. Friday, we had a little gap down, but we held the 20. Monday, yesterday, it looked like we bounced off the 20. We were trying to push up. Then today, not so fast. We're still under the 5-day. This is the 4th day in a row. We have not been able to close above the 5-day, but we've held the 20-day. This is what I consider stuck in a rut, or we're stuck in a channel. And until we break through this channel and start establishing above it, we just aren't going to get anywhere. I mean, and it makes our swing trading frustrating. Okay, that it does make it frustrating. But day trading, it kind of hurts our the follow through that we need to make money. So, you could look at this. This is kind of the channel that we've fallen back into. We traded inside of it for a couple of weeks. We fell through it, came back in it, fell through it again, traded in it for a couple of days, broke above it for a little bit. We're back in this channel. And we're just kind of stuck in a rut. And last month, we had a couple of swing trades. I traded less stocks than I've traded in months and still made decent money. Here, I just can't get the stocks to go. It's really, really frustrating. We've locked in a little bit of profit, but just nothing like what I would have expected this month. And it's all due to the market just rotating. We went through distribution, and there's a fear of inflation that's causing issues. There's just so many things that's causing issues right now till it's not funny. But it's just trading sideways in a channel. And this tests our patience. This is where part of that skill we have to develop. The patience and the perseverance. And trusting the process. That's where all of this comes into play. But, right now, it could gap up tomorrow. We could wake up and it's gapped up over 294. We could be hitting 295. Or we could be gapped down below the bottom of this channel. Testing the 50-day. Looking to test this ascending support. We just don't know. And there's no indication that tells us, for sure what it's going to do. We got a bunch of support down here. We got very little resistance above. So, but your guess is as good as mine. That's why I wait for the next day, check the morning, and, kind of figure out what I'm going to do based on what we're doing in the morning. Because that's what matters. All right, so let's take a look at our day today. Facebook, you can see I didn't take any trades until after 10 o'clock. I just sat on my hands, waited, let these things just do whatever they wanted to do. But Facebook, I was really late getting in this. I could have gotten in 50 cents earlier, but I'm sitting there arguing with myself. And finally, I just took the trade. I got a little base hit. I could have actually probably covered twice or sold twice before it pulled back. Because I got in here, I needed it to get to, 296, I think. We just couldn't get there. Or it just would not push. And it ended up coming back, stopping me out at break even. So I waited, it bounced. I was able to take it over the top of this channel here it put in. And this was a level that we were looking at yesterday for our target. So I'm assuming I see this and I'm like, well, we should just blow through this, or if anything, it'll hold it up for a minute. But we should not lose the top of this channel again. And it did pull back once it hit, but we gathered it up. It pushed up, and again missed my target by a couple of cents. And it came ripping back down, and I stopped out. I wasn't gonna let this take me negative. I figured that if it failed up here, then that was that. We failed to make a higher high once we broke this level, and we actually never made a higher high. So we never did claim 297.38 today. And so, that was that on Facebook. Now, we did get into some bigger moves later on in the day. I was asleep through this. I'm not going to lie. I'm still kind of dealing with the effects of this sinus I had, the sinus infection and all that stuff. But, I slept a long time. And you'll see in a minute when I woke up. But that was on Facebook. BA, this was the other trade we took this morning. This was as close to a textbook opening range breakdown that happened after 10. Well after 10. Here's a 5-minute opening range low here. And, you can see there was no move to the long side. There was just too much resistance here. So it broke down to the short side. I got in. First target. Was trying to get through here, and it didn't. It started. It really looked like it was starting to build in reverse. So I took it off. And in hindsight, I'm looking at the 9 here, and I was like, look, you could have at least let it test the 9, because it did come down and hit your second target. So this wasn't the trade so much failing. This was me reading price action and not really paying attention to the resistance above it. And, giving it a chance to either break through it or reject it. So, I kind of pulled the plug a little bit too early. I see why I did it, and I probably would do it again if I saw it again, because oftentimes this is what it looks like when it reverses and it pulls all the way back. But that's what happened here. I waited until we pulled back. This was after 11:30. So the mistake I made here was not waiting for it to confirm. I took it on a break. It never did confirm. So I ended up stopping out of it. And you can see eventually it kind of worked its way back down. But it traded really choppy. There were the clean moves like we saw back here just didn't happen. Here was one, but it was just really choppy. So, that was that on Facebook and BA. And then I said, when I came back from picking my son up, it was, I had to take him somewhere after school, and I got back around 2, and nothing was really looking good. So I said, hey, let's look at GME on earnings, because it announced earnings after the close. There was no way I was going to trade it ahead of earnings, but I felt after the announcement, once it did its initial thing, that we would be able to get a good move. Unfortunately, I didn't wake up until after 5. So I missed all of this. And so I'm looking at it, and I'm like, yeah, here's a channel here. We broke through here. It sold off and it bounced. And here we're breaking through this channel. We could get a nice move back to 150. So I don't know if any of you guys were still left in the room when I was doing this, but nobody responded or said anything. But this should have been a better entry. I got killer slippage because I was using my hotkey. I wish I could have used my market. I wish I could have marketed in, but I couldn't. The stock started jumping around so bad, it ended up giving me a screwed up entry. Was trying to take profit, and again, this thing, instead of going down on me, it jumped up, and it killed some of the move that I was taking. Then I was able to get profit down here, and the stock opened and it pushed up, stopped me out at break even, and then it started to sell off again. And here I'm trying to get in, when we break the low here, and I use my hotkey again, killer slippage. And the spread was coming together and jumping apart. And after this, I just said, I'm just not going to trade it anymore, because I took profit here, and then when it bounced, I ended up having to take it off. And I was like, it's just not working. Normally the stock has settled down, but obviously GME was just going berserk, and I couldn't really get any clean trades. Did make some decent money on it, but not what I was looking for. I was thinking we could grab $1,500 at least out of these, but it just wasn't trading worth 2 cents. But we did get $550 out of it. Facebook was like I said, was an okay trade. I didn't really get what I wanted out of it. But BA was a really nice trade. I ended up giving some money back on it, on the late trade. But all in all, it was an okay day. We finished at 907.20. Not going to have any trades tomorrow. So just Thursday and Friday we've got. But, so far, we've got $1,000 booked this week already. So if I could do another $1,000 at the end of the, Thursday and Friday, we'll have a decent week. And remember, we're trading small size. I'm only trading 300 shares. You could trade 200 shares. You could trade 150 shares. Whatever you can in your account, and you could still make money. No, you won't make the same amount I make. It's no different than if you're following somebody that's trading with a whole lot bigger account than you, with a whole lot larger size. You can't make what they make. But you can get there. You can grow there. The larger your account gets, the more buying power you get, the more shares you can take. Just simple mathematics. So what I'm trying to do is help you guys grow your account. Make that equity curve go in the right direction. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for today. You guys have a great night, and I will catch you in the morning.